If you want a better relationship with yourself, know your values. If you want to pick a better partner, know your values. If you want your life to overall improve, know your values. So what is a value? It's something that we deem as important to us or of worth or usefulness. It's what we use that kind of dictates our behaviors. Most of the time, our beliefs or our values really are not our own. It's been passed down from our parents or our grandparents or our family or our culture, sometimes society. And this can be really tricky because we think it's what we're actually thinking, or it's how we actually feel, or it's what we actually value. And sometimes it's not really true. It's what somebody else has implanted into us to believe. Because really most things are inherently neutral. We assign things a meaning. So we can give meaning to anything, and we can give it whatever meaning we want. Most things are neutral. That's something that I've learned from my coach, and it's made a huge impact. So let me say that again. Everything is neutral. We assign meanings to things. So a lot of the time, what we really think is our own belief, it oftentimes came from our parents. So you have to ask yourself, is this what I believe? When I react this way or when I feel this way about something, is this just what I was taught? Is this what I actually want to believe or think or value? Or is this just what I was, in a way, trained to as I was growing up? So it could look like this. Maybe if you're someone that really values hard work, maybe you get a little bit angry on the inside or bothered if you think somebody's being lazy. Well, first of all, lazy and hardworking are subjective, for one thing. But ask yourself, is that something that you grew up hearing often, or heard your family members make comments on, or something like that? Is it possible that they just kind of distilled that in you, and maybe if you really took a step back and reframed your mind on it, would you still value it the same way? Possibly, maybe, but that's just like a way to look at it to kind of distinguish if it's really something you value or if it was kind of forced on you or put on you. Because you'll know the difference. When it's really something you value, you'll feel it deep within. It'll be calming. It won't really feel heavy. It'll just feel natural. It'll feel light and easy, and you'll want to gravitate towards that type of behavior, because typically our behaviors will actually show what we truly value. So it's just kind of one way to help people figure out what their real values are, because I think sometimes it's a struggle when you have, your childhood and everybody else's opinions growing up kind of put on you. Sometimes just listen to and observe how it feels in your actual body and mind when you're thinking about values. And I want you to realize values are allowed to change. And they do typically change over our lives as we have different experiences. We sometimes don't understand that we can give ourselves permission to change certain things. So our values are allowed to change, and they usually do. And that's okay. We don't have to hold on to those old belief or thought patterns that might keep us down or keep us from going or growing into the person that we want to be. Because, for example, I've changed one of the things I valued when I was younger. I felt that I valued waking up early as important because that meant you weren't lazy. Just waking up early. And I mean early, like 5 or 6 early. And as I look back, I realized I was always told by mostly my grandparents oh, wake up early. Oh, you need to be up at this time. Oh, you're sleeping in too much. Or, oh, you know, if you're tired, you'll be fine. Like, I would get kind of picked on. These little comments that used to really bother me, because it's not that I didn't want to get up early, but at that point, when I was working really late at night, there's times where I wouldn't go to bed until 2 in the morning because I maybe didn't get home until 1, or maybe I got home at 1 or 2 and couldn't fall asleep until 3. So of course I'm not going to wake up at 6 or whatever in the morning, because I need sleep. And sleep really wasn't valued by certain people in my family. So I didn't used to think that I should value it either, even though my body was telling me that I needed it. And I had a good reason. I mean, when you're working late, it's different. But that wasn't always accepted by certain people in my family. So I had to learn to understand, okay, what do I value? Well, yes, maybe I value being up early if I've had enough sleep, but now I make sure that I value getting a decent amount of sleep regardless of what time that means that I'm waking up. Because who's to say that I am not being productive in those hours that I'm up later, just because I tend to stay up later than some people or whatever. It doesn't mean that you're lazy because you sleep in past a certain time. I value sleep now more so than what time I'm waking up. And like I mentioned earlier, the way we behave and our actions typically show what we truly value. So that's why in past videos, I've talked about if you're dating somebody and you want to pick a more suitable person for your life, really pay attention to their actions and how they behave in multiple situations and see if they align with what they say their values are. Because that's really important, and you want your values to align if you want, to spend your life with somebody, or you want to get along with somebody and have a healthy relationship. So that's just kind of how knowing your values, being able to identify what your actual values are, and then live by those values will bring you a lot of internal peace and happiness and joy. But then once you're living in alignment with your values, it will be much easier to communicate those values with somebody that you're wanting to date. And then also watching how they act and seeing if they live in alignment with their values will also help you determine if you guys are able to be together and be compatible and be happy and healthy. So this is how it all ties in. And I just wanted to help you recognize what values are, how to live by them, how to identify them, and just kind of the importance of them. Because I really think that it's missed a lot when we're dating, and it's not paid attention to, or at least in my experience and people that I've met. So I hope this helps. Thank you guys. Have a great day.